Okay, we got construction, it's a little noisy. I'm going to plow through this because I want to share something with you. We've talked about this before, but I really want to focus. As you know, I like to focus on certain things in videos and just sort of give you something to practice that'll help elevate you, because sometimes we're so busy just trying to, not feel fear or not, feel upset or anxiety or all these things, and we battle it. And so when you battle it, you're actually focusing on the very thing you don't want, which amplifies it. Whatever you're thinking on, focusing on, you're actually creating. We're going to do some serious manifesting in 2021. But today I want to give you 2 magic words that absolutely can free you, take you into peace, and no matter what you think or do or what's going on over here, these 2 words, if you take it to heart and do this, can take you into a place that you never imagined. But you're going to have to practice it. Are you ready to learn what those 2 words are? They're powerful. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live an amazing life. Now, Breakthrough Fear, my 5-star course, is just blowing the doors off of everything. People continue to take it and tell me it's changed their lives. Why? Because we get to understand what fear is. What is it? It's created by us because we think that we are physical bodies and that everything that happens and all the things that cause the distress and everything is real, and that we don't have any powers beyond that. So we focus on it, we experience it, we think we're real bodies, we die, all that stuff. So when we blow past it, we're just breaking through it and observing it. So we're not focusing on the fear anymore. We see it, we observe it. Now, if you go into my miracle circle, every month we focus on that miracle space. But here's how we start to go into the miracle space. You ready for the 2 words? If you do this, you will live an amazing, enlightened, peaceful existence. Let go. Let go. So what does that mean? Let go so I don't do anything? I'm like, what? No, there was the ego talking again, because the ego wants to control everything. The ego has no control. The ego is always trying to manipulate something that is physical and dense. It is not tapping into its true power. Well, it is an energy field in its own that you share. In other words, when you come in a human body, the ego is a density that exists here. It's the judgment, it's the criticism, it's the chaos, it's the hoarding, it's the, all the things we do because we believe that I must protect myself. And the ego is really just trying to do that. Now, if you've seen Hacker T Dog, he plays the ego. I'll have to bring him out soon. You guys are always asking for him. He's a cute little puppet. I want you to think of the ego as something that's just trying to protect you because it thinks that this is what you are. And that's all it is. It's in a dense place. It doesn't mean anything bad, but it does go into fear. So it is like, if I'm not getting what I want, that's fear-based, right? The ego's 100% fear-based. Even when the ego does something for somebody else, if it's the ego doing it, it's doing it because it wants credit. It wants to know that it's okay. Look at what I did, right? That's the ego. Now, when you give and you let go and you're just giving, it doesn't matter if anybody knows if you gave or not, right? Have you ever seen Seinfeld, the episode where George, he wants the server, like I think it's at like a coffee shop, to know that he put this big tip into the jar. So he wants the credit for it. The ego wants that server to know, look at, I'm giving you this big tip, it's me. Well, when he goes to put the tip in, just as soon as he does, the server turns around and doesn't see him do it. So George decides he's going to pull the tip back out and then put it back in when the server sees him. But the server actually saw him pulling the tip out of the jar and thinks he's stealing the money. So the ego can cause all kinds of silly problems, right? I love that episode because we all do that. We want people to know, yes, I gave, or I did. And so sharing that or having people know is great, especially if you're an example. But if you require it to feel good about yourself or to the world, see what I'm doing, then that's the ego versus just giving and yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I did do this and it inspires somebody else to do something. That's all positive. So, but only you know where that's coming from. Can you let go? When you let go, you become an observer. Toughest thing we've all had to do. Now, I just shot a video on on judgment. That's a big one. That's total separation. That's what the ego does. When you let go, there are no problems. That's the miracle space. Letting go is total peace. You become an observer. Letting go means I don't have to say something. I don't have to correct somebody. I don't have to judge somebody. Letting go is just coming from a space of pure, unconditional love. And you may not feel that all the time, especially for people who do stupid crap out there, right? I love you, and you're going, no, I don't. You're a horrible person. And they are playing the role of horrible person. So the lesson for you is, can you observe it and know that there's a reason why they're doing that? They're making lower density choices. So when you become the let go, you're not judging why somebody's doing something or what's behind it. There's no thought behind it. You just totally let go of it. So when you see the horrible things that go on out there, it's not that you don't take action. Some people are like, oh, I'm supposed to not do anything. No, of course you do things. But when you go forward to be the light, to be the solution, to be the love, you're no longer judging that person. You're letting go of what's happening around there and understanding that you can't possibly know what their personal journey is. You can't possibly know what all this is. And combined densities can be very disturbing and powerful. That's starting to collapse now and dissolve. That's cool. A lot of people are going to realize this is not how I want to live my life anymore. So this is great. These people will evolve also. But don't separate yourself. When I see people go, oh, they're, and I'm thinking, well, who are you, right? Who are we? We must work on this and say, am I letting go? Am I not judging? Am I saying, you know what? There's a person who's hurting. And if they're saying something toward me, I got to let it go and not take it personally. It's never personal. Somebody said, Landria, don't let these things bother you. I'm like, I don't. Actually, I observe them. I find it really interesting because when people want something from me or they're criticizing me or they do things, they're trying to get attention. So there's something else going on with them. Or most of the people that you'll deal with in your life are extremely insecure. So they have to prove that they're right or they're better or that you're wrong. So that's not to go into judgment of that. It's observe what those behaviors represent and that they're working through that. That is not for you to say good or bad, right or wrong. It is their journey. So how am I looking at this? Can I let go of that story I'm telling myself about them? Right? So you always want to go in the highest frequency, and letting go, it's just total peace. Total peace. Let go. I don't have to have a thought. When I let go, I don't have to have a thought. You know when you're hungry. You know when you have to go to the bathroom. You don't have to think about it. That's how far you can take this. So if you can spend your entire day, do this for a day. See if you can do it for a day. Because you'll find that and you're like, why is this happening? What? It's you. You're doing it. There's nothing separate. So I know Eckhart Tolle calls it the little me, and that it's like a separate energy field, but it's actually not separate. All right? As he explains it is beautiful. However, I want you to know it's not a separate thinking entity from you. It's a part of your energy field. So a lot of it's the wiring, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, he goes into the scientific, end of things that you can actually see the brain rewire when you stop those negative thoughts, but you have to stay on it. It's like anything, when you're training your muscles, it takes a while for them to rewire, break down and rewire. So same thing with your brain, and that's all the ego is, just a conditioning of a lower frequency within your energy field. So when you go into this space, You have to be aware that that is just a trigger that's automatically happening in here. It's just, you're trained. This is how it works, you know, and this is what we have to be observing at all times to understand it's not me. Those are not my thoughts. It's part of the energy field that I've been programmed, that I'm carrying with me, and I don't have to believe that anymore because it's part of my energy field. But it's just like anything. A lot of you have been experiencing some really weird stuff going on. Confusion, weird sleep patterns, and there's huge energy shifts happening. We're coming up on December 20th, or was it 20th or 21st, whatever that date is, the end of the world. Well, if you believe in what the Bible says, it says no one will know. In fact, no one will know. You know why? Because it's a moving target. Every moment that you choose a higher thought, you change what happens on this planet. And so when we do it in bulk, when we do it in the collective, and more people that make the higher choices and bless the planet every day, bless this planet every day and mean it. I get up and I say I'm whole, perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious and happy. Blessings to the planet and to all who reside here. May they experience awakening if they choose. I send them peace and love. And I bless everyone, especially those who are not awakening. Because that's a painful place to be. But they're choosing it. Can you accept that? That's when you can just let go. Let go. You don't have to know. When you go into awakening, you don't really care about having answers to anything. You know them. And you won't know everything, and you don't need to know everything. You'll just be aware that you don't have to have the answers because it's so beyond human comprehension that a human cannot comprehend it. Now, I've got some things I'm going to share with you guys that are very mystical, that have really shocked me about how things work. But even that, it's just a drop in the bucket compared to what all of this is. Why is there anything? Have you ever thought about that? Why is there anything to begin with? Where did that come from? We can't comprehend it. So why, burn up your brain power? Just let go and say, can I let this go? Whatever it is. Pain. Can I let it go? I actually focus on it. I have miracle meditations, and I have videos on this where I tell you if you want to lessen physical pain and other things, focus right on it. Focus on it. When you battle it, you say it's a problem, it's a problem, it's a problem. When you focus on it and you're observing it, not focus on it like, that's still battling it. Focus on it and just be aware of it as an observer, and all of a sudden you're not battling it anymore, and it actually subsides. People have miraculous healings by doing this. Some people have watched my video and said, oh my gosh, my back pain actually completely went away. Because we're creating those pains, right? It's a reflection of what we're feeling, thinking, what we've experienced, sometimes past lives. And when you focus on it, you acknowledge it. So you can let it go. So you're not making a judgment about it. Okay, there's pain. I'm experiencing pain. Don't analyze it. That's another video. We don't like to analyze things anyways. Okay, I'm experiencing the pain. Not saying, I don't like it, it's horrible, why is this happening to me? You're saying, okay, I'm experiencing pain. There's a physical feeling in my whatever part of your body it is. A physical feeling. Wow. And then all of a sudden you realize it's not going boom, 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 boom. Yeah, okay, so same thing with your feelings. Okay, most of yours, I don't want to feel this. Okay, well, there's nothing making you have those thoughts. But we don't have control because we're fighting everything. And when you let go and let God, and that's awakening. That's how spontaneous healing. Eckhart Tolle, Buddha, all of the prophets out there that have sought awakening or just suffered greatly. Eckhart didn't know what awakening was. It just happened to him because he went into such a deep, dark place. But he spent his whole lifetime in that place. I want you to know that just didn't happen. It wasn't just one moment for him. It was one moment after a lifetime of agony, of pain. I just got buzzed by a fly. Scene stealer. So when he let go, he just stopped caring anymore. And that's the ego, wants things to be a certain way or doesn't want the pain or, fights it and says, I can't take it anymore. And that's why people commit suicide before they get to that place where they just let go. So you don't want to go into that space. You don't get out of anything, by the way. You get out of nothing. So it's so important to go into this space of awakening because you don't want to have to do this again. And you will have to do it again on some level. And it's like, no, I'm done with this. So when you're done, just let go. And now, so here's what the next step is. When you let go, you're not taking action. You're actually taking more action because instead of trying to manipulate situations or not doing anything, what you're doing then when you let go is you're opening up to all the probabilities. Now it can come in because now you're not fighting things or thinking things or analyzing. You're like totally open. And then the probabilities come in. And so an opportunity comes, somebody calls you, you run into the right person in the grocery store because you're an open, beautiful, light being that's just okay. And then so something happens and you act on it and you say, okay, this feels right. I'm going to act on this. Go with your intuition, right? And we don't listen to that enough. You let go, then all of a sudden the power that you truly are starts to take control. The ego's blocking that. When you let go and you let God, that's what that means. It's like you are no longer making decisions, fighting things, analyzing, judging. This shouldn't be this way. I'm the only one on the planet that's suffering. Suffering is battling something. Let go. Let go. Try it for one day. Ask yourself if you can let go for one day. I always have you do it for one day because that's a long time when you were conditioned. Can I let go of this? Can I let go of what I'm thinking about the situation? Can I let go of analyzing all these things? Because you've made everything in your life, you have been the person making the decision to get yourself there. Don't be blaming anybody else. Let go of that too. Somebody's doing this to me or my spouse. And a lot of people get really upset when I say narcissist. Let it go. If you want to sit around and get tortured, that's your choice. You shouldn't say that. Okay, well, you know what? The bottom line is we do have choices. If we want to suffer through that because we're going to learn something, then we're gaining from it, But if you're done suffering and you don't want to be in that situation more, let it go. Let it go. The right things will come to you, the right people, the right situations, and maybe it's taking care of yourself is first, and maybe it's not running to another person or another job or another anything. Letting go may be I'm allowing myself to understand that I'm powerful on my own because I am of the one, the collective. And I have every resource, every idea, every opportunity, and so does everybody else. Right? So I am the one. I am the one, not a separate entity that's struggling in a situation. Let it go. So spend your day and just say, okay, so I want to be clear on this. What does let go mean? Let go of any kind of struggle or suffering or judgment or having to have things a certain way. Let it go. Observe it. You don't have to do anything. All right, maybe that's not the job I need. Just let it go. I'm just going to let it go. It has to be that job. It has to be that relationship. It has to be that house. It has to be this. Let it go. Everybody I know that's done this has gone into a space of passion and happiness and realized exactly what was available to them that they'd have never pursued because they were so busy trying to make something work. And letting go means there's no struggle and there's no suffering and no struggle in letting go. None. And you will feel that. Let it go. Let it go. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares if my, my friend talks too loud? Who cares if somebody, does something that irritates? Who cares? Let it go. And then you'll find the humor in it. And you'll start to enjoy life so much more. That's an awakened state, by the way. All right? Come join me in the Miracle Circle every month. Go to landriaonkka.com. I'm going to put a link down here for the one for this month. And it's forever. because if you don't catch the live one, you get the repeats, the video, and they're just as powerful because I have training in there. We talk about the miracle space. What is that? It's totally letting go. How do you do that? In challenges. So the December miracle circle is, miracles within challenges. Finding the miracles, creating miracles in challenges. How do you do that? Because that seems like the toughest one, when actually it's the very challenges that can take you to miracles quicker, and I'll show you how to do that. And every month I will have lessons on that, and we do the meditation of light, where we raise the frequency of the planet and each other. So we, even if it's just a handful of people in there, or if it's 100, it doesn't matter. We as a collective can raise the frequency of the planet. Guys, free videos. This is for my internet marketing. Come on over. Woo-wee! We have an 8-week challenge that we're doing in there, is to set some goals, and then we get trained to achieve those goals, and that is in what we do for a living, how we earn, our lifestyle. It's really our lifestyle and how we, earn money doing that, and in a space that feels good and right and that's giving, because everybody in this community wants to do good things, wants to do happy, giving, loving things. It's amazing. Come on over and check it out. So go down the description. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there, free stuff. We're going to hit the ground running here, my friend. You ready for this? You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.